Hello traders, very good afternoon and welcome to today's episode of Post Market Analysis by Tradeducation. This is episode 91, and before I share today's analysis, I would just like to go through a quick disclaimer that trading involves substantial risk and is not suitable for all investors. Also, the information which I'm sharing is for educational purposes only and cannot be used for any trade related activity. So, with that, let's quickly look at how the auction developed today and let me start sharing my screen. Okay, so yesterday first let me quickly jump to the volume profile chart. So basically, what has happened is the auction developed yesterday and the day before yesterday and the day before yesterday. Okay, so what is happening is we were actually trading in a sort of a 3-day balance. Okay, so this is what was happening. So what I did is as soon as I came to my office today morning around 9:30, what I did is for this 3-day balance, I just draw a simple dynamic volume profile chart. Okay, so this is that indicator, very dynamic volume profile. And what my monitoring references were nothing but the volume point of control. Okay, so what I was trying to see is whether today's auction is trying to enter the range and whether we are seeing continuation above the volume point of control or not. Okay, so that was the overall context, or the my trade understanding for taking today's intraday trades. Okay, I don't know, I somehow my options orders were not getting taken, but the futures orders were they getting taken. So I'll share my trade location for the bank nifty. Today I had one good trade in bank nifty, and I'll share what was the logic behind it. Sorry, I also had one more trade in nifty also, but that was in the pre-market, not the pre-market, but right when the market opened in the first hour. Okay, so now let me just jump to the market profile chart. And okay, so the monitoring references for me yesterday were the yesterday's low, then yesterday's high, and mainly the yesterday's point of control. Okay, so these were the three areas which I was looking at. And what has happened is, so this is the today's open. Okay, this is today's open, and as soon as the auction opened, it immediately saw sort of going downside. Okay, as soon as it went down, and so what I was expecting is, are we seeing a further continuation to the downside, which was not there. But what happened is the auction again came back above yesterday's low. This indicates that today we will be seeing some sort of overlapping value, and that is where, so once the auction came above yesterday's low, so this was the point of reference. I think somewhere right from the open is where I went long, and I was actually looking to clear this point of control. Okay. So what has happened is, so this is where I entered, and this is where I was planning to exit. Okay. So this was about I'll tell you, this was for how many points. Okay, so this was for 132 points, which I was targeting. But why? But I exited the trade early, and I'll tell you the reason why I exited the trade early. The reason is, I was also looking at the dynamic volume profile chart. Okay, so let me zoom this. Okay, and what was happening is it was not touching the volume point of control. Okay, it was not touching this green line, and I think in the D period is where I exited my so-called profit, which I gathered in the Nifty's trade. Okay, so what has happened is, so I entered somewhere at here and I exited around this up back level. Okay, because the auction was not reaching high, and I was waiting for the auction to getting this tag, and which did not happen at all. Okay, and yeah, so what was happening is, so yesterday I shared that this single print zone will be the point of reference, and what the auction was trying to do is, so basically we had a double distribution day yesterday, and the auction today opened within the lower balance. Okay, so this is the lower balance and this is the top of the balance. Okay, so the auction opened around the LVN, the low volume area, or around the single bid zone, and it clearly cleared the stops which were built around the yesterday's low. So once the stops got hit, the auction again tried to came back within the yesterday's lower value. So this is the yesterday's lower value, and then so basically the business was clear in this lower value. Now where are the other business? Other businesses in the upper region of the value, okay, or the upper balance, okay. So that's what that was the another my theory, or I would say my thought process for trading, taking a long trade, okay. Even though everyone was telling that global markets are down, Philippines is closed, and this that, everyone was talking that today we'll be seeing a sort of a gap down. uh, I was very much adhered to the market profile terminologies and the concepts. And what my trade plan was, first of all, this is the reference line. We have two balances. If we see the balance if we see the balance opening in the lower edge, and if the auction, again comes back within the balance, it means there is there will be some sort of liquidity crunch. No, so there are no buyers or no sellers interested to go below the yesterday's level, or the yesterday's low. And once the auction came back within the balance, then the higher the odds that the auction will try to reach the top of the balance, okay, or this balance. So that was the overall context behind taking the long trade in Nifty. I also had a good trade in Banknifty, but that was on the short side. I'll share it in the Banknifty review. But right now, let me finish the Nifty review and my thought process. Okay, so once the all the business, or all the auction development was cleared in the lower balance, and the auction was trying to reach the upper balance. That's why I took the long trade. But what was happening is there was no, so buyers were pretty, I would say, weak, and selling again they were strong. So I was hoping that at least the point of control should be getting tagged. Also, the point of control, there is also an HVN at this level, which was not at all tagged. And way below it is where sellers tried to step in, and that's where they took the entire auction down. Okay, this was a sort of a retest. This was a sort of a retest, and then again the auction went down. Okay, one more thing to note here is, so if you mark this reference, so the B period was exactly around the halfback level. Okay, so that is also what I was looking at, is that at visual references is where the sellers are trying to step in. So this can be the algos, or this can be the one, or the short term, or the retail traders who are selling exactly at a particular location or at a particular price. Okay, and so this was again a sort of a stop hunting. Okay, and what has happened is, so if you see today's initial balance, okay, so next I was looking at what is happening at the initial balance. Okay, so there was a failed auction buy. Okay, there was a failed auction buy, and then as it entered within again the initial balance, this was a sort of a good trade location. So this was a sort of a good trade location to go for a short trade targeting the A period low. Okay, honestly speaking, I did not expect. So what I was expecting is that we will be seeing some sort of balancing, and then maybe we'll be tagging the point of control, and then maybe we're clearing the stocks which are built around the highs. Okay, so that is what I was actually hoping, or was anticipating, but it did not happen. Okay, so that's why market profile gives me a sort of an edge in terms of taking my intraday trades, understanding what is the context, why isn't the auction reaching there. Okay, second thing which I would like to share you is overall today's confidence. So basically from the morning, high selling confidence was shifted to high buying confidence. Okay, or I would say high selling confidence was shifted to low buying, or low selling confidence. The reason is sellers were trying in the E period, sellers were trying pretty hard, and again the buyers tried to step in. They took the auction a bit high, and then again the sellers tried to step in. So basically, from high selling, it shifted to low buying, and then from low buying, it again shifted to high selling. Okay, so this is what the overall auction development happened. So please excuse me my bad handwriting, because I'm using a mouse to draw all these things. Okay, so this is what has happened, and what I'm seeing now is, so we are now in a sort of a 4-day balance. Okay, so I'll try to expand this. Okay, so we are having overlapping value, and sellers are still pretty consistent. They are still trying to shift the market down. Okay, so higher the odds, what I'm expecting is currently the close is below the value area low, volume value area low. So basically it is so this will be the point of reference, or the low of the balance. If we see further downfall, then you can take a short trade keeping the target of this low, because there are a lot of stops which are being built. If this is not happening, then what can happen is the open can be somewhere above the value area low. It will try to tag the point of control, some sort of sideways development, and again it will try to go high, and then again sellers will try to step in. So this is scenario number 2. This is scenario number 1. And the third scenario which I'm looking at is, we open with a gap down. We open with a gap down, and again buyers will try to step in, and we see some sort of a balancing activity. Okay, so this is scenario number 3, is what I'm seeing. Okay, so these are the three ways which I'm understanding the auction which is currently developing using market profile and the volume profile terminologies of the concept. So moving on to the next, so yesterday I received a comment that if I can explain this VSA chart more better. So first of all, I would like to give credit to Dean Market Profile, or Anirudh, from whom I was able to learn about the VSA concept. Apart from Dean, I did a lot of my own research, and I tried to learn, understand more. I went through a lot of videos, took a lot of few courses, searched a lot on the web, and so VSA gives you very good signal, but in terms to use VSA, you first have to understand what is the context, what market profile is telling you. Okay, VSA, you can use it as a trade timing tool, and the reason is because it has got this VWAP lines. Okay, so what I'm currently using it is, so basically I'm using cumulative delta, and I'm also using VSA. Okay, so these are the two tools which I'm using it, and how I use it is basically, so I have drawn a horizontal line around the zero reference. So basically zero is, I try to see whether buyers are in control or sellers are in control. So what was happening is, so there are two ways. So one is, this is the way to analyze. So this is the buying side and this is the selling side. Okay, and you also have to look at the wicks and this signals. Okay, so once the option is above the VWAP line, so this is the VWAP line. Okay, this is the VWAP line, and how I trade is, so basically the context which was telling me is, I was trying to take a long trade. So where will I be taking a long trade? Once the option broke above the VWAP. So somewhere here or somewhere here is where I entered the long trade. The reason for taking here is, if you look below the option, or the cumulative delta is trying to reach the zero line, and is trying to break above the zero line. So this indicates that the buyers are trying to step in. Okay, so this is the logic which I took the long trade, and I was expecting a further continuation, maybe to tag this particular HVM, which did not happen at all. Okay, second thing is, you can also use price action a lot. So that's what I do. So if you see, this is the level where strong supply is present. Okay, so this level did not, it was not touched. What has happened is, at this level is where the sellers try to step in. Okay, so from price action perspective, okay, so if you are able to identify supply or support resistance, so that will be very helpful. So this is what has happened. So this is where, so let me draw a rectangle, that way it will be easy. Okay, so this is what has happened, and if you see, this is exactly where the sellers try to step in. As so I was expecting it to at least reach this level, or maybe this level. Okay, so this is pure price action. So I I think you price action is a visual technique which which you will be able to get it after. So it's a chart. The more you see the charts, the more you'll be able to understand what price actions. Okay. So I use price action. I use market profile. I use order flow. So I've learned since last 3 years. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to learn and trying to implement, and I'm trying to develop my own methodology, or I would say my own innovative style in terms of gauging the market confidence and timing my trades. Okay. Uh, Also, one more thing which I would like to share is what works for me wouldn't work for you. So that's what I have learned. So I've learned from different mentors, and they all have their own different terminologies. They have their own different type of trading style. One is a good option seller, one is a good option buyer, one is a good future trader. Okay, and one is very good in the cash. So it's not that what works for them works for me, or what works for me will work for you. Okay, so the idea here is you have to work hard and you have to develop your own trading methodology, and that way you'll be able to get confidence, and you'll be able to trade effectively. Okay, so the idea is to develop your own skill, develop your own keen eye for looking at the markets, because markets changes every day. What is going to work today will not work tomorrow, and what's not going to work tomorrow will work again day after tomorrow. Okay, so you never know. That's how the markets are. Okay. Yeah. So I hope I was able to answer your question. So that's how I use VSA. Some of the signals which I take is if some sort of this type of signals are developing, or this type of signals are developing. Uh, if you guys need any VSA trading, I think I can provide you. So please do send me an email. You check the YouTube description. There's an email ID, or else just add a comment, and let me think through, because I think next month I'll be having some bandwidth, and I'll be able to start the training again. Okay. So again, training is not so. I ideally I'm very hesitant to give trainings, because I'm still in the learn and learn, in a learning mode, and daily I'm finding a lot of new things, which I would like to share it with my community. And so I think training is a good way to do it. But I think let me first finish my small trading, the small account challenge. I'm already at week 19. There are some 4 more weeks, and after that I'll be trying to take up the trainings. And one more thing, which I would like to share with you guys is this is after I'd like to share you my trading journey. Okay, so if you see this, okay, so let me quickly jump to the dashboard, and so if you see here, so I started. So when did I started? Just a second. So I started on 11th November, sorry, 13th of November 2019. Okay, this is where I started my tracking. Okay, and what has happened is, so if you see, since week 1 to week 18, overall, since last 18 weeks, so I began with 10,000 rupees capital, and in the last 18 weeks, so it is this week, wherein I have actually crossed. So basically now I am turned into profitability right after 18 weeks, compared to the old so this was another experiment which I started to track on 29th of July. Okay, so here in week 4 is where I was profitable, and I think in week 16 is where I blew my account of 10,000 capital. Okay, so I'm in week 19, so I'm just waiting for it to finish till week 24. Once this is done, then I'll be in a better situation to give you the trading, or trading type of activity. Okay, so so moving on to Bank Nifty. So what Bank Nifty was doing is, okay, so Bank Nifty also was in a 3-day balance. So let me just jump to the volume profile chart. Okay, and so this is the volume profile chart, and this is for the 3-day. And what I was looking at is, again, like Nifty, whether the volume point of control is getting tagged or not. Failure to do that, and if the auction goes below value area low, higher the odds that I'll be looking for a short trade. And that was the thought process wherein I shorted around 23,000, so around 23,000, and I exited at around 21, sorry, 22,000 300 or 200 levels. Okay, so I was able to gain about 700 points with one lot of futures. Okay, so that is what how I traded. So let me just jump to the market profile chart, and I'll tell you what was going through my mind. Okay, so in Nifty yesterday we had a double distribution, whereas in Bank Nifty we had a good excess, and we had a very poor structure. Okay, so what I was looking at is, first of all, this poor structure needs to be repaired first, and my monitoring references was around the yesterday's point of control. Okay, so what has happened is, right in the B period again, so basically this was the initial balance range, and there was no continuation to the upside. So this gave me a confidence that okay, sellers are now trying to step in. So in the C and in the D, E, F, G, H, and I. Okay, so what was happening here is, it was just trying to develop sideways. Okay, and what it was trying to do is, it was trying to clear all these anomalies which were created in the yesterday's auction development. Okay, once this period finished, I think around this level, so this is the 23,000 level, where I entered the trade, because at this moment is where the auction went below the value area low, and that's why so in the 1.5 hour, I was able to gain about oddly 700 points. Okay, so that's what I how I traded Bank Nifty. And again, the today's auction is following a sort of a 4-day balance. So now let me see. Okay, so the close is way below. Okay, so the close is way below. So here is the close. The close is way below the value area low. We have equal sellers and equal buyers. Okay, and this is the low of the balance. Okay, so I'll try to see whether the auction is trying to reach the value or not. If it is getting rejected, we will just wait for a retest, and if we get a retest, then then that will be a good opportunity to take a short trade, targeting the low of the balance. Okay, so this is what currently I'm seeing to happen in Bank Nifty. Okay, let me jump to Reliance. And Reliance, again, we are developing in a sideways movement. Nothing much is happening, but there are some anomalies. So we have this poor lows, we have this small excess here, then we have this 45-degree line. Okay, and was this single print cleared today? Yes. Okay, so basically the auction which stopped today is around this level. Okay, so this is where the auction stopped today. Buyers again try to step in. So what I'm expecting is again to clear this. Okay, and then maybe at this excess level, so basically at this single print zone, okay, is where I'm expecting buyers to try to step in and take the auction high. Okay, so this is the overall thing which I'm anticipating from the Reliance. And let me also add this. Okay, so the auction has already cleared the volume point of control, and it has closed below the value area low. So higher the odds that we will be seeing some more down move. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting, anticipating in Reliance. And Maruti. Okay, so Maruti, what has happened is, so let me zoom this chart a bit. Okay, so there were some very visual reference. One was the poor high. Okay, then there were all these anomalies. Okay, these anomalies. So what has happened is, if you see the low, okay, so this anomaly was repaired, and then the auction, or the buyers tried to step in, and they clearly taken out this reference of the poor high. Okay, once this got taken out, again the sellers tried to step in. but they failed to take the option for the downside. Okay, and what has happened is, again, we had a sort of up move. So when this up move was happening, I was looking whether this point of control is getting tagged or not, which did not happen at all. Okay, and again sellers tried to step in, and they again took the option down. So Maruti is, I think, a pretty good candidate for the moment, because it is not falling. It is now, we have a sort of sideways value formation. So I think my reference line will be the today's high and today's low, and I'll also be keeping a monitoring reference at this level. Okay, or this pullback. So this is what I'm seeing in Maruti, and let me add today's session also. Yeah, so it has closed around the point of control. That is a good sign. So Maruti, I think it looks a bit strong, but let's see, where the open is tomorrow, and that way we'll be in a better position or a scenario to gauge the market confidence. Okay, and now let me go to crude oil. So what is happening in crude oil is, just a second. So today in crude oil we had a scenario of open equal to low. Okay, and then after that the crude was just developing sideways. It was going down. So basically it was trading in this initial balance range. Okay, and then we had this failed auction sell. Then we currently have this poor high, and now it is clear, and it is it is just trying to sort of balance and again try to go down. So right now the auction, so this is the all-time low, or the swing low which is formed. So this is the US session. Okay, this is the US session, and currently we are trading in the same range. Okay, and this is the overnight session. We are just trading in the same range. So there's no clarity. So I would say do better stay away from trading crude oil today, and just wait, because again a lot of new sentiments, things which are going on, and it is not giving any clarity. Okay, uh, but one good thing which we have is we have this single print zone, and we now seeing a sort of a double distribution, which is getting formed in the overnight session. So right now the balance, so the basically the auction is trading in the lower balance, and if we see acceptance in the top of the balance, so basically this level will act as the level of resistance. Okay, if this level acts, or if we see again continuation, then somewhere here you can take a long position targeting this poor highs. Okay, but odds are seems to be a bit lower, but I think we'll get more clarity in the in the US session. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank you all for making out taking your time out and watching my market analysis videos. Do let me know in your comments, and feel free to send me an email if you need any training, if you have any queries. Please do let me know. Okay. So thank you, and take care, and let's again connect tomorrow and see how the option develops. Take care. Bye.